Hello everybody, I'm back out at the beach and it is sunny. If you want to talk about new science, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about new science every day, and I want to talk about how a new model for the atom can really give us a lot of new technology that we really need right now. I've written a book about it. The model for the atom is the galaxy model for the atom by John Sefton. I can send you a signed copy of this book. Actually, thank you very much, Josh. Josh got me to send him a copy, which I did today. But I'd like to sell more copies of that book. Actually, I'd like to find someone who would want to support me and try to prove these ideas. But today I'd like to talk about how galaxies and atoms are the same thing. That's the basic tenet of this model. The model says just one thing. Galaxies and atoms are identical. They're the same thing. They're the same energy structure. They obey the same laws, the same space. They do the same things. It's just that atoms are very, very much smaller and galaxies are very, very much bigger. And when we look at galaxies, they don't seem to move at all. But when we look at atoms, they're little balls of energy. Okay? So right away we look up and we see the galaxy is a disk. Well, how can the disk be a sphere? Our science right now says that those disks just stay disks, turning. But telescopes lately have been measuring the speeds of stars, and they've been seeing that there are stars that are going sideways. And some of them are going sideways quite fast, and some of them are going sideways the other way. And so they're like, oh my God, the galaxy, the disk is rippling. They think it's rippling because they're looking at it from the edge, and they're seeing some stars going up, and they're seeing some stars go down, and they think it's rippling. But the thing is, the stars that are going up, they're seeing that's one edge, and the stars that are going down is the other edge. And what's actually happening is that galaxies are precessing. And that's how galaxies and atoms are both spheres, is because we can see atoms are spheres, but in order for a galaxy to be a sphere, it must not only be rotating, the disk rotating, but the disk also has to be precessing, like a coin spinning on the table. So they're seeing these stars going sideways, and they're going, oh, it's rippling, but it's not rippling. Galaxies precess. They precess and they sweep out big spherical volumes. Galaxies, there are more things about galaxies that are spheres than there are about galaxies. The only thing about a galaxy that's a disk is the disk itself. The disk is sitting inside halos. Now, galaxies have these halos of old globular clusters that surround them, spherical halos, and they're double layered halos. And when they looked at Andromeda lately, and they're trying to figure this out because, they have no, they don't think that a spinning galactic disk can precess, because they say that it would cost too much energy for it to precess. So they've blocked that possibility right out of their minds. So they're not even, they don't think that that can even happen, that they can precess. In spite of all of this evidence that they do, here they say, the Andromeda Galaxy features a massive, complex, gaseous halo, spherical halo, extending up to 2 million light years, structured like a nested Russian Matryoshka doll with two distinct layers. An inner shell, which is chaotic and rich in heavy elements, and the outer shell is smoother and hotter. Okay, these nested, nearly invisible plasma structures are already merging with the Milky Way's own halo. So what they're seeing around Andromeda is two distinct spherical halos that are nested together, like they say, like Russian dolls. And this is how galaxies and atoms work. They're like Russian dolls. The atom is like the next smaller doll. And then what space is made out of is like the doll that's smaller than that. And so the reason that Andromeda has these two spherical nested halos around it is because the whole disk is coming sweeping around. And it's sweeping out a sphere each time. And the last sphere that it's swept out is bigger now, and the next sphere that comes through is nested inside the last one. And that's how galaxies are structured. They have these spherical nested halos. And what else they have, the spherical, is their gas body. Galaxies have a spherical gas body that extends another third of the way past the halo. Which begs the question, where's all that gas coming from? How is that gas still left over from the Big Bang? The Big Bang. Why didn't that gas just become stars already? Like they say that all this gas is just condensed into... How does gas condense into spheres? Gas can't condense into spheres. That just never going to happen. It doesn't. Oh, well, if it gets enough mass, well, if your gas has got enough mass, then it's also got an equally larger volume. You're never going to have it condense into a sphere. But because of our gravity theory, those are the answers we're getting, because we've got gravity backwards. So we can't understand how these larger bodies are working. And we measure them as being a certain size, and then we measure their period around the star, and then we calculate and we say, oh, it's got to be all gas. But they're not all gas at all. It's just we don't know. We're not processing gravity right at the larger sizes. And gravity isn't really the thing. Like at the atomic size, protons and electrons, gravity is not a factor. What the factor is at that size level is the electromagnetic fields. Those are what's ruling everything, is your electromagnetic fields. And they are 35 orders of magnitude bigger than the little push from the electrons of gravity that's happening. The little push is much smaller than those electromagnetic fields. And the same thing is happening at the galactic size. At galaxy size, gravity is no longer a factor at galaxy size either. At the galaxy size, it's once again the electromagnetic fields that are ruling everything. And every star arm has its own magnetic backbone. Reiner Beck found that. He saw even elliptical galaxies, he said, have got a spiral magnetic backbone to them. So these star arms, the reason the outer edge of the star arm is going around at the same speed as the inner part of the star arm is not because it's being helped along by some kind of invisible gravity. The star arm is one unit, and its electromagnetic forces are keeping it together. Gravity at that size, at those size levels, gravity has nothing to do with it. Nothing. Dark matter gravity is silly. It's a silly, silly, silly thing. But that's just my opinion. If you buy my book, The Galaxy Model for the Atom, just message me and I can send it to you. I can send you a signed copy. It's not that long, but it kind of takes you through the reasoning behind what I'm saying here. But yeah, our major problem is a misunderstanding of gravity. And a lot of that comes from restricting ourselves to one dimension. We've got ourselves scientifically restricted to this matter. We say that this is our matter, and our matter is the only matter. And this is our photons, and our photons are the only photons, right? And that's just an old human thing from way back. Like, humans were always the smartest, we're always the only, we're always the first, we're always center stage. But thinking one-dimensionally, thinking that our matter is the only form that energy takes to become matter, the only size, and thinking that our photons are the only size that energy takes to travel. That just makes no sense. The universe is energy. It's all energy. And it's divided and subdivided again, and I don't think there's a smallest, but there's certainly other smaller forms of matter and radiation than our atom. And that's what this book explains, and like how the energy becomes matter and how the energy becomes light by using synchronized rotations. It's just synchronized rotations in space. There's nothing moving through space. The only thing moving through space is the energy. The energy is causing space to go up and down and make waves. But the energy is what's moving. There's nothing else moving, just the energy. And as the energy comes through, it's changing space. And in the case of matter, the energy is coming and it's being looped in one spot in a process that keeps it in one spot for a while. And so it's like a standing wave of energy is what an atom is. But there's no real such thing as a particle. It's all energy. It's energy in various waveforms is how it works. But anyway, yeah. Nice day at the beach. Very bright out here. Holy cow, I can hardly see out that window. And yeah, tomorrow I think I'll explain light to you guys, how I think that light works. I'll talk about light tomorrow more. And I'd like to talk about gravity. I like talking about gravity. I still haven't totally got that figured out. But there's some tantalizing clues about how gravity works. That's for sure. Anyway, check me out tomorrow. Have a good day.